here at Congregation Beth Adam and ourjewishcommunity.org, we have the awesome tradition of reading a different Torah portion each and every high holidays. So this year, Rabbi Bar and I decided to read the most foundational of all Torah you could possibly get, which is creation. So on Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Bar took us through the 6 days of creation, showed us how this had its own ideological spin, how this was really a magical story about a very magical God who speaks the world into being, creates chaos, doesn't create chaos, there is chaos, creates order out of the chaos, and then we have this amazing perfect world, which ends with the creation of humanity after everything else is first created, and then the creation of Shabbat when God rests. And then right after this whole world was created, we start all over again. It's as if that other story never happened. So tonight, this morning actually, we are going to read the story of Adam and Eve, which is actually a completely independent creation story. So we're gonna pretend we never heard the other one. But this story is super important. And it's one of these stories that's been misinterpreted over and over and over again. So this morning, we're gonna go, I'm just really excited about the Torah, what can I say? So we're gonna go through a lot of text together, but I'm gonna challenge all of us to approach the text with new eyes and to let the words themselves speak to us and try as best as we can not to put on the Disney, idyllic, whatever version of the story we grew up with. We're gonna try and appreciate the text for what it's trying to tell us, because this text is a warning. It's warning us about the danger of power and corruption and the terrible, terrible things that happen when we take choice away from other people. So, exactly, it's a big deal. This is really important. So, let's begin. Okay. Ela toldot hashamayim v'haaretz. This is the history, toldot, the generations of the heavens and the earth. This is fact. This is how things are. V'haaretz b'hibartam b'yom asot Adonai Elohim aretz v'shamayim. This is the history of the world and the creation of the heavens and the earth on the day the Lord God created them, created the heaven and the earth. So what happened? V'kol siach hasadeh terem yihyeh ba'aretz. None of the shrubs or the bushes had yet grown on the earth. There's nothing. V'kol esev hasadeh terem yitzmach. And no plant had begun to sprout or grow. Why? Ki lo himtir Adonai Elohim al haaretz. For God had not caused the rain to fall on the world. So it's not that God didn't create the plants yet. It's God is subject to the natural world. God needs the rain to fall so that things will grow. But God hasn't caused it to happen, so we don't have it. And yet, that's not the whole reason. Sorry, I just lost my place. Okay. The Adam and the man, ayin la'avod et ha'adamah. And there was no man to till or work the ground. So the earth is empty, both because God hasn't caused it to rain yet, and, this is crucial, because God needs a man, and this is not humanity, this is just males. God needs a man to work the land. Ve'ech ya'alei min ha'aretz. And so a mist springs up from the ground. Notice God doesn't cause this mist to happen. It just, poof, happens. V'hishka et kol pnei ha'adama. So, and that water, the mist, sorry guys. So the water waters the entire ground and creates like a mud-like substance. The last story, we had the exact opposite. It was all water, and then out of water, we got land. Here, dry, barren desert, and we're getting something. Vayitzer Adonai Elohim et ha'adam. So God forms the man, afar min ha'adamah, from the dust of the earth. Vayipach be'epav, and he breathes into the man's nostrils. Nishmat chayim, the breath of life. So God is holding Adam, or no, he's not Adam yet, the man, excuse me, very important. The man breathes the breath of life into him. Vayhi ha'adam lenefesh chaya. And so the man was a living, breathing being. So this is a very intimate moment. Adam is connected both to the world, to the earth, to the elements of creation, and to the breath of God, the spirit of life. Vayita Adonai Elohim gan be'eden. So then God plants a garden in Eden, just the way we would plant a garden. Mikedem, in the east. V'yashem sham et ha'adam, and puts the man there, asher yatzar, that he created. V'yitzmach Adonai Elohim min ha'adama, kol eitz nichmad lemar'eh. So what does this garden have in it? God plants all the beautiful trees there are to look at. So God is planting things, not magically creating them. God plants the trees that are good to look at, v'tov lema'achal, and all the trees that are good to eat, so fruit trees, stuff like that. Ve'etz hachayim b'toch hagan, and the tree of life in the middle of the garden. Ve'etz hadat tov v'ra, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So here we have four really important elements of power. First, we have an abundance of beauty, luxury, that's power right there. Then an abundance of food, things that are good to eat, especially if you're spending all day, every day, trying to eke out a living for yourself. Having enough food to eat, huge power, huge deal. Then we have immortality, the tree of life. That's a big deal. And then the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this tree, of course, is going to be central to everything we're going to keep talking about. So what is this tree about? So in Hebrew, knowledge can mean like, I know 2 + 2 = 4. Or, in the biblical sense, we can know a wife, which means something totally different. So knowledge here, you have knowledge and sexuality. And when knowledge and sexuality come together, you have consent. So anytime in the Bible someone knows their wife, it's a consensual act. So here, the tree of knowledge is actually the tree of consent. So before anyone has eaten of the tree, no one knows they have a choice. No one knows if they have power or not. But once you eat of the fruit, then your eyes can be opened, and you can see the world for what it really is. But notice, nothing has been forbidden yet. All we have is a setup for all of these different elements of power. Okay, and then after we have this discussion of the trees, then all of a sudden we learn, V'nahar yetzeh me'eden l'hashkot et hagan misham. There was a river, multiple rivers, that watered Eden. So they're helping the agriculture. But a river isn't just, yay, there's water. A river is also power. Rivers were the ancient highways. They would take you to the gold, to the trade, to the military, and it's no accident that all of the ancient superpowers, when they were superpowers, controlled their rivers. But in case we missed this trick, this hint from the author that this is all about power and worldly wealth, and this is super important, the text continues to tell us all 4 different names of the rivers, and tells us that they each lead to precious metals. Some to gold, some to lapis lazuli, some to some things I have no idea what they are, but it's worldly power. And so then we continue our story after this discussion of the rivers. Okay, so, Vayikach Adonai Elohim et Adam. So God took the man, Vayinehu bagan Eden, and placed him in the Garden of Eden, la'avodah u'leshamrah, to work it and to guard it. So not only does the man have a purpose that he never quite chose, but he also has a meaning, and God needs him. So question mark, what the relationship is between God and the man at this point. Is it mutual? Do they both need each other? Is the man just doing whatever God wants? Up to you. Vayitzav Adonai Elohim al ha'adam. So God commanded the man, saying, Lemor, Mikol eitz hagan achal tochal. From all of the trees of the garden, you may surely eat. Do whatever you want. Ume'etz hadat tov v'ra. But from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, lo tochal, do not eat. Mimenu, ki b'yom achalcha mimenu, mot tamut. For on the day that you eat of it, you will surely die. So notice God does not forbid the tree of immortality. The punishment for eating the tree of consent is death, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So here we have God grasping for power, making arbitrary choices, and not explaining the decisions. So surprise, surprise, the rules are not going to get followed because there's a miscommunication and no one's getting all of the information. And there's also the question of what is this fruit? And in the Talmud, the rabbis have all sorts of different answers. Many of us think that the forbidden fruit was an apple because we've seen lots of medieval paintings where it's an apple. But actually, one of the coolest, in my opinion, the very first fruit that's given as to what is the fruit in the Garden of Eden is given by Rabbi Meir, and he says that it's grapes, because out of wine is the most sorrow and pain created. And we all know that when intoxication happens, issues of consent and what everyone wants can get a little bit more blurry with disastrous consequences. So God has warned us, don't eat this. Well, actually, just the man. Vayomer Adonai Elohim, lo tov hayot ha'adam levado. And God said, it's not good for the man to be alone. E'eseh lo ezer kenegdo. Let me make a fitting helper for him. So we're going to get woman, right? No, because animals outrank women. Vayitzar Adonai Elohim min ha'adama. So God forms from the earth kol chayat hasadeh, all of the animals of the field, ve'et kol of hashamayim, and every bird of the heavens, vayaveh el ha'adam, and he brings them to the man, lirot ma yikra lo, to decide what each animal should be called. V'kol asher yikra lo ha'adam, nefesh chaya hu shemo. And whatever the man chose to call each being, that was the name of the living being. So here, Adam is determining what each animal is. Adam's the one that gets to define them, not God. And yet, each animal gets its own identity. They each get a name that makes sense to them. They're formed from the earth, just like Adam was. And they have the spirit of life, Ruach HaChaim, within them, just like Adam. So wait, let's see if the woman gets all of these awesome things too. Vayikra ha'adam shemot l'chol ha'behema. And so Adam called the names of all of the animals, ula'of ha'shamayim l'chol chayat hasadeh, and all of the birds of the field and birds of the heavens and beasts of the field, just in case we missed the last part. Ula Adam, but the man, lo matzah ezer kenegdo, he did not find a fitting helper. Vayipal Adonai Elohim tardema al ha'adam. So God caused a deep sleep to fall on the man. Vayishan, and he slept. Vayikach achat mitzalotav, And God took one of the man's ribs, Vayiskor basar tachatena, and he closed the flesh beneath it. Vayaven Adonai Elohim et hatzela, and God turned the rib asher lakach min ha'adam, that he had taken from the man, le'isha, into a woman. God took the rib he had taken from Adam and turned it into a woman. There's no connection to the dirt, the breath of life. There's no talking. There's no intimacy. So what happens next? Vayavieha el ha'adam, and God brings her to the man. Vayomer ha'adam, and Adam says, Zot hapa'am etzem me'etzmai. This, not she, not you, this. This is bone of my bone, ubasar mi besarai, flesh of my flesh. Lezot yikare isha, to this object, this thing. This is not a word we use for people in general. Lezot yikare isha, this I shall call woman. So not only does Adam not speak to his wife at all, but he completely objectifies her. Her only worth is how she's related to him. Literally, the only thing he cares about is her body. And then, as if this humiliation was not enough, we have an excellent, excellent moment of mansplaining. For what is the reason given between this amazing name that Adam has so benevolently given the woman, the man has so benevolently given the woman? She shall be called woman. Ki me'ish lukacha zot. For from man was this taken. And al ken ya'azov ish et aviv et imo, v'davek be'ishto. And so a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his woman. So the mansplaining that's happening here is Adam saying that the reason woman is called woman is because she's subordinate to man, and that there's an etymological root, that the words are related. So fun fact, these words are completely unrelated. They do sound very similar. Ish is man, but it comes from the root which means strength. And if our text was not showing us how problematic it is already, Isha comes from the root which means weakness. So we have polar opposites. And in fact, perhaps if we realized what was happening, it could be really cool to think that all men have weakness within them and all women have strength. We all have strength and weakness. We all have male and female within us in different degrees. But usually, we don't give the text enough credit. Okay, so they're going to cling to one flesh and be one thing. V'hayu shnehem arumim, and they were naked. Ha'adam v'ishto, the man and his woman. V'lo yitbosheshu, but they were not ashamed. And so now we get the most important, in my opinion, part of the story, which is when the first time anyone speaks directly to the woman. The first time she has a real conversation at all is with the snake, who, of course, doesn't have the best reputation, nor does not have her best interest at heart. V'hanachash hayat arum mikol hayat hasadeh. And the snake was naked or cunning or more naked than all of the beasts of the field, asher asa Adonai Elohim, that God had created. Vayomer el ha'isha, and he said to the woman, Af ki amar Elohim lo tochlu mikol eitz hagan. Did God really tell you that you can't eat from the fruit of the tree in the garden? Vatomer ha'isha el hanachash. So the woman said to the serpent, Mi pri eitz hagan nochal. From the fruit of the tree of the garden we can eat. Umi pri ha'etz asher betoch hagan. But the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, betoch hagan, Amar Elohim lo tochlu mimenu. God told us not to eat from it. Velo tig'u bo, and not even to touch it. Remember, God never said that. God also never told Eve, or the woman, this. Adam, we assume, relayed the message and clearly missed a key component of it. And because of this key miscommunication, the woman listens to the snake, is manipulated and violated, and does something that she would not have normally done. So God told us that on the moment that we ate from it, nifkechu einechem v'haytem ke'elohim. Oh, I skipped a line. Sorry. Okay. So, in the moment we speak from it, we will surely die. So the woman said, we're going to die. And then, so the serpent says to the woman, lo mut tamutun, you're not going to die. Ki yodea Elohim, because God knows. Ki b'yom achaltem mimenu, that on the day that you eat from it, nifkechu einechem, your eyes will be opened. V'haytem ke'elohim, and you'll be like gods. Yodei tov v'ra, knowing good and evil, capable of making decisions. V'tar'eh ha'isha ki tov, ha'etz the ma'achal. So the woman saw that it was good to eat, and she eats. And we all know how this story ends. They eat the fruit, their eyes are opened, they realize that they have not been consenting to the life they've been leading, and they're ashamed. They hide from God, they create new garments to cloak themselves, to hide themselves within, and then God asks them what happens. And so what do? Adam blames his wife, the wife blames the snake, and the snake just kind of is like, okay. And who suffers the most? Of course, the woman. Her curse is to be always wanting her husband and yet always ruled over by him, to both raise children and to give birth to children with pain and with sorrow. And as if this is not enough, the very last line of the story, it ends with the man turning to the woman and saying, I am going to call you Eve, for you are the mother of all living beings. So in just one instant, Adam gives the woman an identity and takes it away. This story is a challenge to us. It's a warning. It's up to us to do with it what we will.